Well, I recently preached on the parable of the crooked accountant, or the shrewd steward, from Luke 16, verses 1 to 9. And a lot of people get confused about this parable because it seems like Jesus is saying that we need to be like a bad guy. And so a lot of people try to explain it in the commentaries. Well, no, he was actually the good guy because the owner was charging too much for interest or whatever it is. But the truth is that when you're interpreting a parable, you want to look for only one main point. Let me read it for you here. Jesus was saying to his disciples in Luke 16, there was a rich man who had a steward, and the steward was reported to him as squandering his possessions. And he called for him and said, "What is this that I hear? Give an account of your stewardship, for you can no longer be a steward." And the steward said to himself, "What shall I do, since my master is taking the stewardship from me? I'm not strong enough to dig. I'm ashamed to beg. I know what I shall do, so that when I am removed from the stewardship, people will take me into their homes." And he summoned each one of his master's debtors, and he began saying to the first, "How much do you owe my master?" And he said, 100 baths of oil. And he said to him, "Take your bill and sit down and quickly write 50. And he keeps doing that. Instead of clearing out his desk, he realizes he's been fired, he's got one day left, and so he has all these power lunches with the master's debtors, and he writes off their debts. So he's their favorite person suddenly, right? And at the end, the master says to him, the master praised the unrighteous steward because he had acted shrewdly. For the sons of this age are more shrewd in relation to their own kind than the sons of light. And so it looks like in the parable, Jesus is praising this man for being deceptive. Well, he's not. He's still called the unrighteous steward. He is being unrighteous. But the master is praising him for his shrewdness, for his craftiness. It's kind of like the master saying, well played. Well played. I fired you. I should have seen this coming. And Jesus is saying the one point of the parable is this: use your time here on earth to do something that has an effect in the future. This guy did what he did to make friends so that he could move into their homes when he was homeless. In the same way, Jesus says you need to be like him. Use the unrighteous mammon that we have now, the money that we have now that's going to stay here on earth. Use that to build relationships for the gospel, because the only thing that lasts into eternity is a soul. And so for every soul you can bring with you to heaven using your money through your generosity and faithfulness to support missions and the gospel ministry, for every soul that you bring in, that's a relationship that lasts forever. And in that way, we should be smart. We should be shrewd, like the crooked accountant.